I'm really not doing too good at getting these all done like I wanted to, huh? But I'm trusting that He's with me and that He's helping me like He always does. I feel like this has all been for me. The whole kit and caboodle. I wonder if that's how, not that I'm not putting myself in a classification of preachers, teachers, apostles, nothing like that, but I can't help but wonder if they have moments where they sit and, or those famous book writers, that have studied the Bible and done all those fancy things. I wonder if they have revelations, have moments in time where they go, holy cow, all this was just for me to learn more about who He is and learn how to lean in on and trust and bank on what He has to say and who He is and the things that He has done. When I've shared many times why I even started doing this. And I believe He told me to do it. I have no doubt. But I can say honestly that over the course of this past month and a half of me trying to get this prepared for you, well, it's actually been more like 2 months, actually, maybe over 2 months, because I wanted it all done and prepared and ready to go and then upload them was the plan. And then, well thought plans and all, but definitely have for quite some time now been spending a whole lot of time trying to digest the Psalms and the Proverbs. And my heart, where I was headed with it, of who I wanted to share it with and the whys and all of that. But I think ultimately what's happened is He knew the other things that were going to be going on in my life today or yesterday or in the very near recent past. And He knew exactly what I needed to have dwelling in my heart all this time, so that when this stuff out there that came to me, I would be able to persevere and walk through it and see it much clearer than I might have if it hadn't have been for this study. Am I making any sense? So let's get started. Today is day 25. And that means we'll be looking at Psalms 121 through 125. And then we'll also look at Proverbs 25. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Father, thank you so much. Thank you for knowing all, being in the middle of everything, not being surprised by anything, not changing, always being exactly the same person today, yesterday, tomorrow, and forever past and forever future. You don't change. I am learning just how much my world changes almost daily. The thoughts of others, the opinions of others, my own thoughts and opinions and feelings and whatever, they change. But you don't. And I feel like I'm seeing that clearer and clearer every single time I ponder you. There's been a lot of pondering on you lately. I ask, Lord, that you be with the people that are listening. I ask that you touch them. I ask that if there's something going on in their world that they don't understand, that they don't see they don't see how it could possibly be giving you glory or how it could possibly be good for them. I am praying that they stand on your word and they stand on the truth that they know in their heart that you have it 100%. And all you're trying to do is make it beautiful. You just want us. You want us to seek you. You want us to have a relationship with you. So I just ask that you be with every single person and let them see that. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so we're going to look at some Psalms. Psalm 21. So these, Psalm 120 and through, let's see, 34, I think. Yeah, Psalm 120 through 134, they're all songs of ascents. We talked about that yesterday, what that meant. They're fairly short. They're sung during the pilgrim journeys to Jerusalem for the national festivals. So we understand what, when, and the where, and the why. So let's just dig in. First one that we're looking at today, 120 was yesterday, and we've already went through it. So let's move on to Psalm 121. Psalm 121. I will find it. There it is. Okay. Psalm 121, God the help of those who seek him, a song of ascents. I like that title. It speaks directly to my world. Here we go. Verse 1. I will lift up my eyes to the hills. From whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at the right hand. The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. So there's one word that keeps repeating in all that is keep or keeper. He will keep. He who keeps you will not slumber. He who keeps Israel, he is your keeper. So the word keep is in there a lot. I think that means that he's going to hold on to us. Nothing's gonna keep him from his love for us. We can't do anything to break away from that because he's our creator. He loves us. He loves us. He's not gonna love you more. He's not gonna love you less. He's going to it's just love. It doesn't change. So with that love, he's going to keep us. Then the word preserve is in there 3 times. Verses 7, it says it twice. In verse 8, it says preserve. So I went and, I think I know what that word means. But I have a tendency to want to go look the word up. Like, actually, do I know what it means? And I think there's a lot of words out there. I got to talking to my dad the other day about this, about how some words we just kind of nonchalantly think we know what they are because we've heard them all our lives, right? But there's a lot of words that the one little definition that we have in our head of what it means, there might actually be a whole lot of different meanings. And the really cool thing about looking those words up is that you can start seeing how the other definitions kind of fall in line too. And it almost seems like every single time those other words that you would put, those other definitions, like you have the one, but then you go and you look up, and there's 3 more examples. And all 3 of those also fit in line with the exact same thing. So let's look at an example. So that word preserve in verses 7 and 8, just looking in the dictionary, I like to look at the 1828 Webster's Dictionary. A friend of mine told me about it, and I love it because it's pretty far back when it was put together. So the words they lean, there's times where it actually uses the biblical examples of those words. So like before, there was a fear of going that route with things. So these are some of the different definitions for the word preserve. The first one, to keep or save from injury or destruction. Okay, so the Lord shall preserve you from all evil. The Lord shall keep or save us from injury or destruction. Oh, that sounds nice. I like that. The next one, to defend from evil. And it uses examples from Genesis 45:5 and Psalms 141. So defend from evil. The Lord shall defend us from evil. He shall defend your soul. You see how you can put that word in there? Okay, to uphold or to sustain. So uphold means hold it up, sustain. Even though it might want to fall, it preserve means uphold it or sustain it, keep it going. So going back to verse 7, the Lord shall uphold, or the Lord shall sustain you from all evil. The Lord, he shall uphold or sustain your soul. See what I'm doing here? Putting the words, those definition words in there, and it gives you more clarity and a more, I don't know, tangible description other than first glance. I think that's what he wants us to do. He wants us not to just take the words at a quick, just reading it. He wants us to dig in. Let's look at another one. Preserve, definition, to save from decay. Okay, so I have bananas sitting on my counter in there. Well, there's different techniques that you can use in order to preserve them so they don't decay faster than, they don't have to decay super fast. You can slow it down, right? So so going back to verse 7, the Lord shall, then the other definition, to save from, the Lord shall save from decay me from all evil. That's good. To keep a sound state. Sound state. What really speaks to me there is a sound state of mind. Like, it might be because of the different things that are going on in my world right now, but you know, he will preserve me from all evil. Well, he will keep me in a sound state of mind, right? He'll keep me in a sound state. Salt is also used to preserve meat. I think this is an example of being salty. He will preserve us. And then the last one is to season with sugar or other substances for preservation. Yeah, that's the word. Preservation. So he will season us. To keep or defend from corruption. An example of to preserve youth from vice. So to keep or defend from corruption. So not allow bad things to come in. Protect. He shall preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve your soul. It's a whole bunch of, I see it as being a bunch of protection, shielding us from evil yuck. Okay, next one. Psalm 122 is also a song of ascents. It's a praise. Yay, a praise one. I like it when it's those. Let's read it. The joy of going to the house of the Lord, a song of ascents of David. So this is David's. Verse 1, I will be glad when they say to me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet have been standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is built as a city that is compact together, where the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, to the testimony of Israel. The Lord gives to the name of the Lord, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. For thrones are set there for judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. Peace be within your walls, prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brethren and companions, I will now say, peace be with you because of the house of the Lord our God. I will seek your good. Okay, so notes. My own little note says on verse 1, it's so true. I personally find great joy in just going to church. And that's what it reminds me of. They're all joyful because they're getting to go see the temple. They're going to Jerusalem. I picture them standing inside the gate and they're waiting for their turn to go up. Because, I mean, the city of Jerusalem would swell up, from what I understand, like over 1 million people at those festivals, right? From everybody around the area would all flock in. So I know in the town I live in, let's use the example of up in Northwest Arkansas, when during the day, the town of Bentonville just swells. It just grows exponentially from 8 to 5. And then everybody disperses back out. Well, I can just imagine that Jerusalem swelled to maximum capacity during those festivals. And so because remember and they're talking about the tribes coming in to see the testimony. It means they're all wanting to go to the temple. But then when they say, where is it? Did I not read something about when they say to me, let us go into the house of the Lord, our feet have been standing. Yeah, verse 2, where it says, our feet have been standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. I'm picturing like they're all in a not a line necessarily, but they're all waiting for their opportunity to get closer. They couldn't go in the temple, but they could get closer to it. They could get to the mound. They could get to the Solomon's porch. They could get to the courts outside. And obviously they couldn't all be there at one time and they had to wait their turn. Can you imagine the anticipation, the excitement of waiting your turn? Like, have you ever wanted to get on a Disney World ride and you had to wait? Or you had to wait your turn to go in? There's a store that I like to go to, and there are times when you have to wait outside the store. You can't get in because everybody else is already in there and they have a maximum capacity, right? So, but I picture feeling that excitement, that anticipation of wanting to get in there and just waiting my turn, but I want to go. Think of all the people that wanted to go. So I picture, I can relate, not quite in the same way, but I can relate to when I get to church. I want to go to church. I get to church so early on a Sunday morning. I just love listening. I love being there. I love sitting there and praying. I love just being in what is been set aside for him. I know he lives right here and he is set aside in my house and he has complete and total dominion and rule and whatever everywhere and in my home. But there's something about going to church. There's something about going in that building. It's not the building itself. It's just knowing that, I don't know, I can't put it into words, but I feel like that's what's being described here by David. That zeal, that excitement, that joy of getting to go to the temple. I feel that on Sunday morning. Verse 3, where it says, it has the word compact. I picture that meaning that they're they're not just close because there's a bunch of people in a small space, but they're close because they all have one mindset. They're all there to go and worship the Lord. And they're all fulfilling the obligations they've been given in the past. And they're all together. And because of that unity they have with one another, they can put aside whatever their weird differences are. And they're all there for one purpose. And so they're tightly knit. They're tightly knit. And with that tightly knitness, I can see the word compact. verses 6, where it's talking about pray for the peace of Jerusalem. The word Jerusalem actually means city of peace. So I think the psalmist, I think David was wanting them to actually live up to the name. Like he was praying that peace always be with Jerusalem, because it is the city of peace. And it has seen a lot of turmoil, and I'm sure that everyone would just like for it to have some peace. We know that scripturally, that's all in the works, right? Peace be within you, because the house of the Lord our God. Of course, we want peace inside our churches, just like we want peace inside our homes. Okay, let's move on. Psalm 123 is also a song of ascents. It is called Prayer for Relief from Contempt. It's fairly short. It looks like it's about 4 verses. Let's read it. Verse 1. Unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look to the hand of their masters, and the eyes of a maid to the hand of her mistress, so our eyes look to the Lord our God, until he has mercy on us. Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy on us. For we are exceedingly filled with contempt. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorn of those who are at ease, with the contempt of the proud. So, this is a lament, and I tried to pick apart the 5 different things to see if I could see them. I can see where the cry out to the Lord is there, that he's addressed. The cry out, he's talking about the talk of contempt. That's others are having contempt for them, and he's wanting to be saved from that. Have mercy on us, O Lord, have mercy on us. Sometimes there are times where you have things in your life that are over and done. And these people, they had things in their past that was over and done, and they were looking ahead, and they were so excited to look to him. I believe, let's stop that tangent for a moment. Let's go back up and look at verse 1. Unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. So he's calling out to God. Then in verses 2, he gives a description of a servant looking to the hand of the masters, or a maid to the hand of her mistress. So I am picturing, let's go to me band directing. I was a band director for quite some time. And I couldn't, when they were playing, when we were in the middle of a performance, I couldn't speak words to my students of what they needed to be doing, whether it be play softer, play louder, stop, you're playing a B flat and it should be a B natural, whoa, it's not your turn to come in, or repeat, or louder, or whatever. I couldn't talk out loud what the beat was, like even the flow of the music. I couldn't just stand in front of them and say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, not in the middle of the performance. Are you with me? I had to use my hands. I had to use my hands at all times. I used my hands to tell them when they were going to be, what the tempo was. I used my hands to tell them when they needed to get louder. I used my hands to tell them when they had to get softer. I used my hands at all times to give them the instruction that they needed. With my hands, the preparatory motion of my hands actually prepared the beat and the tempo. Just that right there, not actually giving the beat, right? This is the beat, not giving them the beat, but the preparatory moment, this. So before anything even started, that hand motion prepared them for how fast we were going to go, how loud, how bold, how big, how timid and shy and soft. It prepared them before anything took place. Just that moment, and I think that's kind of what he's talking to. The servant looking to the master's hand, or the maid looking towards her mistress's hands. They are so involved in paying close attention and waiting for what the master or the mistress are going to do, that they are eagerly anticipating it before it even happens. They are ready. They are on the edge of their seat. They aren't being lackadaisical. They're ready for whatever's coming. They're ready for it. Because they want to please the master. They want to please the mistress. They want to be right where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing here. So, unto you I lift up my eyes, O who dwell in the heavens. So I'm going to keep my eyes on him and be ready for whatever it is. I want to be ready to be ready. I'm ready. I'm on the front end. I'm on the front end, ready to be ready. I'm on the edge of my seat, ready to be ready for whatever it is he's got planned for me. Because I just want it. Whatever it is, I want it. Just like the servant and the master, or the maid and the mistress. Does that make sense? And I think that's what we don't want to sit back and be lackadaisical and lazy about whether it be his return, or it be just moving from this moment to this moment. I want to be on the edge of my seat, ready to go, whatever it is he wants me to do. Because all I want to do is serve. It's all about him. It genuinely is all about him. I don't want to carry anything else with me. I just want to watch his hands, and I want to be ready. I want to be prepared. I want to be ready to move. Are you ready to move with him? If he says move, well, let's not even have him say move. Just waiting for him to move his hand. You don't even have to say it. Just watching his hands and waiting for him to move. So I think that in itself is the praise. Having mercy on us. Oh Lord, have mercy on us. That would be him at the ask, right? The ask. And then the trust. So our eyes look to the Lord our God until he has mercy on us. So it's knowing that it's coming. It's the trust of knowing that it's coming. It's just waiting for it to come, right? That's at the end. That's in there on towards the end of verse 2. So our eyes look to the Lord our God until he has mercy on us. I think that's the knowing it's coming. So that's where the trust is just waiting for it to happen and just anticipating, waiting for it to come, just ready on the edge of your seat. And then we have the cry out, which is the last part of it, of the contempt. Well, that's a good one. I liked that one. Let's move on. Psalm 124. This is also a praise. My notes in my little notebook here, they are telling me to look at my notes in my Bible. And the notes in my Bible talk about that there are 3 metaphors that the beleaguered psalmist describes his enemy. So he's using 3 examples to describe the enemy. He's using a beast who would have swallowed him. He's using floods of swollen waters and fowlers or bird hunters. But ultimately, we're going to see that the Lord who created all those things is ultimately in control, and it has dominion and going to handle it, and that he can sit back and just know that. He can just sit back and rest in it. Let's read it. Psalm 124, the Lord, the defense of his people. He is our defense. We don't have to do the defending. He's our defense. This is a song of ascents, and it is also of David. It's short, 8 verses. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side when men rose up against us, then they would have swallowed us alive. When their wrath was kindled against us, then the waters would have overwhelmed us. The stream would have gone over our soul. Then the swollen waters would have gone over our soul. Blessed be the Lord, who has not given us as prey to their teeth. Our soul has escaped as a bird from the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. He's the creator of all, says so in the last line. And that is where their help was. And that is where our help is in him. I love it when David gives he uses nature to do the describing of the situation. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to move on. Psalm 125. Psalm 125. What might there be? This one is a psalm of trust, looks like. It's only 5 verses. Y'all, we're going to get done early today. It's only 5 verses. It's a communal trust, I think. All the peoples. Kind of like that one was. That one, 124. It was, David says, let Israel now say, and it was all we, us. You helped us. You saved us. You are for us. And I believe 125 is going to be similar. Let's read it. Psalm 125, the Lord, the strength of his people, a song of ascents. Those who trust in the Lord are like Mount Zion, which cannot be moved, but abides forever. As the mountains surround Jerusalem, so the Lord surrounds his people. From this time forth and forevermore. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land allotted to the righteous, lest the righteous reach out their hands to iniquity. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good, and to those who are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside to their crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them away with the workers of iniquity. Peace be upon Israel. All right, so it starts out with him talking about how protected and sheltered the people are because of Mount Zion, because it's there's a mountain range behind it that protects it, that shields it, and he is their shield in the same way. Verses 3, the scepter of wickedness shall not rest on the land. He wasn't, nor is he, about discrimination. He wanted to have bumper rails. It's kind of how I picture it. He knew the hearts of the people, and there were hearts of some people that just weren't going to turn around. And so he didn't want them to be resting in the same place as his people, because you know, a little leaven can spoil the whole loaf. He didn't want a little bit of iniquity around his chosen people to where that little bit of iniquity could feed off onto the people, and then them people suck up and devour the iniquity, and then they themselves be also full of iniquity. People tend to jump to a conclusion that he was selective, or I don't know what word to use, but he wasn't. I try to use things like that as an example of him not having love, but that's not it. He's loving and protecting. Remember, he's a just judge that judges justly. And so there are different times in the Bible where hard situations come up, and to us, especially in the world we live in, to us it looks one way, but you have to dig in and really search and seek and knock and ask and be willing to take on the challenge of the hard questions. There are no hard questions for him. It might be hard for us to go to him and ask him, but when you realize that he really does have all the answers and he really does know your heart, he knows your heart, he knows what's in your head, he knows your life, he knows your past, he knows your future. He knows our future. And because he knows all those things, it should make us feel very satisfied and rest in knowing that we can take the challenging questions to him and he will reveal the answer. He has said so. We have read it here in the word that he will answer. So that ask, seek, find, knock, dig it out, ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask him the hard questions. Don't. Because when you ask it and he reveals it to you, and then you see it clearly with the light shining down on it and all the darkness removed that might have been your own imagination, or it might have been what somebody else informed you, or it might be, whatever it is, whatever the dark is. You ask him, he reveals it, he shows it to you, and then the dark can't ever go back on top of it. It is demolished. It's over. There is no more dark. That area is forever and always gone. That's what truth is. It is light that is penetrating and bright and warm, and it just devours the darkness. And that's what we all need. We need all of the darkness devoured. So those hard questions are part of the darkness because of the shyness and the insecurity and I'm kind of scared of what he might say. Then you definitely need to be asking. You definitely need to be seeking. You definitely need to be knocking. Don't just put it in the back burner and be like, oh, well, we can talk about that tomorrow. No, go for it. Just jump in with both feet. I promise you he's big enough to handle it. I promise you can't scare him. I promise you can't cause him to run away from you. I promise you reach out to him and he's got you. He's got you more than anything, anyone, any drug, any doctor, any therapist, any loved one, any other book, and anything. He's got you. He does. I feel like I'm talking to myself today. He's got us. He's got me. He's got you. All right. Let's flip over to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 25. All right. So yesterday we finished up the wise sayings and then the further wise sayings. I love the way it does that. With Proverbs 25, we are now back to Proverbs of Solomon. And you can kind of pick up on it. It's almost like Solomon, like maybe some years have gone by in his life. And so Solomon had all the wealth. And if I remember right, the lands prospered real well during his time. The people flourished. It was good times. And then he started doing some things that he shouldn't have been doing, unfortunately, but we all do, right? We can't condemn poor old Solomon. But I think he got to a point where he was older, and so maybe his sayings became a little more crisp or just right to the point. So let's dig in. So these were copied from the men of Hezekiah. It says so in the description up here of the title. So let's just jump in and see what happens. Remember, there's a very good possibility that we're going to have that flip-flop of inside the verse. You'll have two little comments, And there's one of four things that usually the second comment is in relevance to the first one. It's either an adding to, a direct opposite, re-saying the first one. What was the other thing? It was one plus an addition of something else. The first one and a flip of the first one. The first one and saying the first one again with different words. And then what was the fourth one, y'all? Anybody remember? There's no way I'm going to be able to find it just real fast looking through my little notebook here. What? We're talking about Proverbs. I started around 10. That's what I'm thinking. Hold on. I'm going to find it real fast. I can do this. Was it 10? 10 or 11? Yeah, okay. Chapter 10? Yay me, I'm right. Okay, I love it when I remember something correctly. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, some proverbs are repeated. Sometimes a group, sometimes. Nope, that's not what I want. Advice, these sayings, heavy righteousness. Oh my goodness. I feel like it. I know those three. Why can't I remember the fourth one, y'all? Anybody else remember what the fourth one was? It was re-saying it. Saying it a different way. Doing the opposite. Adding to the first one. Maybe it's making... I'm not going to say. I don't know what it is. I'll look it up and tell you tomorrow. That's frustrating. It's fine though, right? Okay. We'll maybe it's in this book. I'm not. Oh, here we go. Look, I just need to turn one more page. An opposite, restating it. A further statement of it, or a simile, like the word like, with adding like the word like having the word like. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got. Further wise sayings of Solomon, chapter 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied. Again, we read the crisp, terse style of Solomon himself in a collection of his sayings copied by Hezekiah's men. This must have been done about 720 BC. I love how we can see exactly the when. Done about 720 BC, when the writing had already survived more than 200 years. So we're talking about the time that they decided to put it in. It was almost 1,000 years old when Hezekiah's men added it in. So that's crazy to even think about. But we have no clue as to the source or history of the document from which these scribes copied. Many of the proverbs in this group are more pungent and stinging than the others. It seems like that at least some of these are among Solomon's later sayings when his skill at pithy comments were well honed. There'll be repeats of some that we've read before, and there'll be some that are not 100% just word for word repeats, but same concept, same idea. All right, here we go. These are the Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah, king of Judah, copied. It is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. So, a man always feels the need to find out. God never does, as he already knows. Yeah. Like, you can't surprise him. He already knows. So, with that, it's not like we can go to him and offer him advice. It's not like we can go to him and tell him that this is how you should do it. And it's not like we can go to him with something that we've done that he has no idea about. And there's such reassurance in that. So we're constantly always wanting to know the why, the how, the what abouts. One of my daughters growing up, her favorite word was why. Now, the other two did not do that. So some people might say, oh, well, that's all children. No, this particular child did it all the time. Why? Why? And she genuinely wanted to know why. Why? 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 One of my grandsons does that. Why? 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 So that's kind of what us humans do. We want to know the why. Well, we know from some of the other Proverbs that we read that his thoughts are bigger than our thoughts. His ways are way bigger than our ways. He doesn't operate where we operate. That's why he gave us Jesus. So he'd have somebody to relate to. Okay, verse 3. As the heavens for height and the earth for depth, so the heart of kings is unsearchable. Ooh, verse 4. Take away the dross from silver, and it will go to the silversmith for jewelry. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne will be established in righteousness. Silver's real pretty, but it's even prettier when it's been refined. Diamonds don't look like all that. They don't. They're kind of ugly. They look kind of like dirty, ugly glass. Really yucky in color. And before that, they were coal. Just black, sooty mess. But through pressure and refining and cleaning and polishing, and we get this precious gem. That's what we are. We go through the fires, we go through the stuff, whether it be pressure or it be a fire. There's something that's working in you that's getting it to where you are more beautiful, even more beautiful. Let's see, verse 6. Do not exalt yourself in the presence of a king, and do not stand in the place of the great. For it is better that he say to you, come up here, than that you should be put lower in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. Okay. I've done this. Where you go into a situation and you go in all highbrow and you think you are the king snot in the room and you know it all. And all these other people, I had to deal with a whole lot with some pride. But this has happened to me where you go in and you think, oh, I know, let me bless you with my presence, Hope wasn't always a nice person. I'm only nice now because of him. And then you get in there and you sit down and there's somebody else that, they make you feel like a wee little, whatever it is, whatever it might be. Here, he's given the example of being in the presence of a king and you thinking that you should sit, that you are all that in a bag of chips, so you should get to sit right next to the king, and then somebody else comes in and goes, oh, wait a minute, no, I'm sorry, but you need to go sit down over there. This place is reserved for this person. And then this person is, whatever. We have to be careful. Don't be haughty. There's no reason for it. There's really not. And it's an extremely embarrassing, humbling, awful experience to be the one that goes, do not exalt yourself in the presence of the king and do not stand in the place of the great. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It'd be better for them to go, I think it actually says it, for them to go, hey, no, don't sit over there. Come over here and sit here. Even though we're not supposed to play partiality, and James talks about how we're not supposed to do that. I think the idea here is that's talking about one thing. This is talking about your pride. Put your pride aside, not partiality and what's that other word? The D word. Anyway, sorry. Don't be prideful. Just don't do it. That's basically what it's saying. For it is better for him that he say to you, come up here. Yeah, you come up here. It'd be better for him to ask for you to come than for you to just take it upon yourself. You see where that's prideful? Verse 8. Do not go hastily to court, for what will you do in the end when your neighbor has put you to shame? Debate your case with your neighbor and do not disclose the secret to another, lest he who hears it expose your shame and your reputation be ruined. I hear that. That's really interesting because that word reputation was right in the middle of my face earlier today. And if junk needs to be shared, then it needs to be shared. If it doesn't need to be shared, then it doesn't need to be shared. And I believe the Holy Spirit gives us discernment to know when it's necessary and when it's valuable and when it's helpful and useful and used to the edification of the church or to the glory and help and good, the glory of him and the good of somebody else. Then by all means, share whatever it is. If you got to go to court, you got to discuss it, then do it. But let the Holy Spirit give you discernment and wisdom and knowledge as to whether or not you need to even do that. Because there's going to be a lot of times where it might just be better that it just be the two of you, discuss it, work it out, hash it out, and get past it. Because lots of times when you go throwing stuff out there, all it does is bite back at you. And unfortunately, we live in a world where throwing it out there, attacking, in this instance, saying go and take them to court, you're throwing it all out there and hoping to get a response or a jab or wanting to fix. You might even be thinking you're trying to fix it, but ultimately what ends up happening is lots of things get damaged and unrepairable. Where if you just go to the neighbor here, the example here is just go to your neighbor and discuss it and work it out, then hopefully it can all just be resolved and you don't have to, take it to the court. There's some times in my past where I wish I would have just taken it to the person and not exposed it to every single person that was walking out there. Not every single person out there needs to know all the things about all the people. That's what is part of the problem with our world today is that everybody is so busy being wrapped up in what somebody else said, thought, did, dressed, what they wore, what cool little dance they can do, or what little, I don't know, what cute little saying they've got, or I don't know, you name it. They're so wrapped up in the what's going on right this, that it doesn't matter. But they're so wrapped up in it that they're not striving for him. Let's see. Verse 11, a word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. Like an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold is a wise rebuker to an obedient ear. A word fitly spoken. Have you ever given a word fitly spoken, or have you ever given a word not fitly spoken? I can honestly say I think I've done both. I hope through his wisdom and grace and mercy and strength and through the blood of Jesus Christ, I can definitely offer more words said fitly, or however it's worded there, a word fitly spoken, than the other way. Because the other way, I mean, you get to thinking about which one's the one that is going to do any good, So, lots of wisdom in that one. 13. Like the cold of snow in time of harvest is a faithful messenger to those who send him, for he refreshes the soul of his masters. And so that's a adding to, giving another insight into the same statement. So, a refreshing word. Have you ever had somebody come to you and give you a word that was just so nice? It was just refreshing. It just gave you a sense of peace and relief. We have no idea just how powerful our words are. The Bible talks about it all the time. We have read it in the Psalms. We have read it in the Proverbs. You go read you some James. You go read you some Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You go read you some Acts, or the First and Second Corinthians and the Romans. You go read what some of them say, what's being said about this. It's powerful. It's extremely powerful. Through our words, we have the power of life and death. This is an example of life. This is the kind of words we want to share. Words that are like the cold of snow in the time of harvest. So when it's hot and sweaty and yucky and gross and stuff, like right now out there, 99 degrees and humid as all get out, wouldn't a fresh snowfall all of a sudden just feel amazing, like just so refreshing and beautiful and lovely to wallow in? Just a random snow blizzard just to come through real fast and be over and out. That's what words can be when they're given rightfully spoken, as in the verses above. That's what we need to be doing for others. Last night, the gentleman that I was listening to teach, he was talking about our words, and they're extremely powerful. So instead of dwelling on how powerful they can be on the negative, let's focus on maybe doing a little more of the positive words. Okay, verse 14. Whoever falsely boasts of giving is like clouds and wind without rain. By long forbearance, a ruler is persuaded, and a gentle tongue breaks a bone. Have you found honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit. Too much of a good thing? Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. Don't wear out your welcome. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. There's a like. Cool. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. There's another like. Here's another one. Like one who takes away a garment in cold weather, and like vinegar on soda is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. There are times to be bubbly and upbeat and woohoo, but not necessarily at your best friend's funeral, or your best friend's husband's funeral. Probably not the time to be all, and giddy and cheerful. You need to be understanding. 21. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. That's a love your enemy. That's a do for your neighbor. That's all that right there. Show love. Let him deal with the issues. You show love. That's our job. We show love. He deals with the issues. He's our defense. Verse 23. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue, an angry countenance. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. Don't be a contentious woman. Don't be a wife that's difficult to live with. In whatever capacity that might look. 25. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. There's another sharing good words. A righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. A good man needs to stay a good man. 26. One who is basically good becomes contaminated when he is indecisive in the face of temptation. His ability to serve is marred. Yeah, he has to be very careful because of the influence it makes on other people. It is not good to eat. What's this one say? Just out of curiosity. A spring or fountain that yields fresh water gives life. When godly people allow the wicked to dominate them, what was life-giving becomes deadly. Oh, so that one says it differently. What does this one say? If the godly give in to the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. Okay, that makes sense. It's I got that. Okay, let me read it again. If the godly give in to the wicked, it's like polluting a fountain or muddying a spring. Okay, so something that was giving life, the fountain, right? And then it's allowed to get mud in it, then it's not drinkable anymore. It's not life-giving. It's harmful. Yeah. Verse 27, it is not good to eat much honey, so to seek one's own glory is not glory. So to seek one's own glory is not glory. We don't want any part of that. Don't be trying to seek out your own glory, because it's not gonna happen. It will be false. It won't be genuine. And the only one that deserves glory is him. Really. I don't know what could possibly else could get glory. That's a word that seems reserved only for him. Or that's what I've come to believe. And I used to be the one that wanted the big one, the big trophy. I wanted the big one. I wanted the biggest trophy there was. I was extremely competitive. So I wanted all the glory, and I wanted it all for me. Not anymore. And I'm not being self-deprecating, whatever that word is. I'm not trying to beat myself down. It's just that there's this revelation that it really, you know what? That big old trophy, you know what it's doing right now? It's either been put in the trash heap because there were too many trophies anyway, and it was just redundant to have just yet another one, or it's sitting on some shelf somewhere collecting dust from way back when it really doesn't matter. Nobody gives a flying flip. Not even me, because it doesn't matter. It was way back when. He's all that deserves all the glory. Really. All the glory all the time. Because what he's done is eternal. His goodness is eternal. Verse 28, the last one. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Oh, you guys, that one speaks to me. The other day I did some things that I wish I could take back. I mean, I know that we're 100% sanctified when we're saved, but then sanctification is an ongoing process. And I can't help but think of Peter and all of the things, in one moment he's just perfect in doing the things and just, all in 100% and go, Peter. And then the next minute he's saying something and he's getting rebuked. Well, it's because he didn't have control over his own spirit, not at that time. And unfortunately, I didn't have control over mine the other day, and I did some things I wish I could take back. And I said some things I wish I could take back. But I can't. So, what do? Well, I've apologized where the apologies needed to go. I've repented full-heartedly, meaning I've turned away from it, saw how the errors of my ways, don't ever want to do that again. And ask for his strength and wisdom and mercy to see me through, that I don't do that again. Hope on our own doesn't have any strength, any ability to take a breath without him, let alone function and be a part of this world and interact with other people. I don't, not without him. And I'm so thankful I have him. Yeah, because being like a city broken down without walls is no fun. Nope, don't want to be there. All right, well, we did pretty good. I would have thought we would have gotten done faster. I guess I rambled a lot today. I guess I just am a rambler. I don't know that anybody's actually seen this all the way through to the end. Any of them, that's okay. It's really me just talking to him and sharing with him, talking about him with him. But if there's somebody out there that needs to hear you're loved, hear it from me. You're loved. If there's somebody out there that needs to know that it's okay, that whatever they've done, it's okay. It's okay. We're just all trying to get through this life. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, I come to you humbly. I know just how far my walls have fallen when you're not present. But I'm so thankful that you are my defense and you are my fortress. You are my high tower. You are my rock. You are my dwelling place. You give me shelter. You give me protection. You give me a beautiful pasture to rest in, and I want to rest in that pasture. Thank you for watching over us. Thank you for bringing us here again today. Thank you for giving us a little bit of time to just hang out with you here. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my family. All I care about is that they know who you are and they feel your love and they know your presence and they just strive to know you as deeply and all-encompassing as they possibly can on this side of heaven. And I can't wait to see them on the other side with me. I can't wait to get there. Thank you. I love you. And thank you for loving me. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Have a really, really, really good day.